Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Baby Back Rib Show. And it's me, Cole Cunningham. It's been a while since I've graced your media screen, whatever it may be. And it's good to be back. And hopefully back for the long haul. That'd be nice. But yeah, I was just gone for a while. Truth be told, my day job is just it was very busy over the holiday season, which caused me to kind of slow down on contributing to this lovely channel that me and Otto have. And yeah, after 12 videos without me in it, I am back, and I would like to be back a lot more frequently. So with that being said, I am doing a video talking about the regular season awards. The regular season just wrapped up, as did Wild Card Weekend, and if you want to see the video on that, go check the most recent video on the channel. Otto did a great recap of Wild Card Weekend, and yeah, I will be giving out these awards, and it'll kind of be a mix of what I think will happen and who I think should win it. Most of it is what I think will happen though, because it's kind of I share the same opinion as that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get this thing started. And also, if you do remember, I did a mid-season award video around week 9, week 10 when that wrapped up, and so we're also going to be kind of comparing how I did. Let's kind of seeing if my opinion changed from halfway point to the season to now. Spoiler alert, it did a lot. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to kind of take a little deep dive into some of these seasons, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. But with that being said, let's hop in. Oh, whoops, hold on. A little technical difficulty here. Let's hop in and look at the MVP, Lamar Jackson. This would make him a 3-time MVP, putting him in very, very, very elite company. A different player than who I had at week 9, which was Josh Allen. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really going on a limb here. I'm kind of picking just statistically who should deserve it, I feel. This is coming from somebody who thought Josh Allen would win the MVP coming into this season. But I mean, you look at the statistics and you kind of just look at what they've contributed to their team. I would go with Lamar Jackson. I feel like he is pound for pound the best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. It's just he is incredible. I mean, look at these stats in front of you: 4,100 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and then you get to the rushing stats: 915 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. That's ridiculous for a quarterback. Over 5,000 scrimmage yards, 45 touchdowns, and only 4 interceptions. You're telling me this man is oh my god. Like, I know Josh Allen had a fantastic season, but I mean, what Lamar Jackson is doing in Baltimore is incredible. And I mean, just a bravo to the job that he's done his whole career over there. I feel like, he's kind of taken the talent that he has on offense and elevated it every single year, pretty much, since he's been in the league. And bravo to him. He's just been incredible. And that's why he deserves the MVP. He's essentially carrying the Ravens. He is the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not saying Josh Allen isn't the Buffalo Bills, but I mean, we just see this year after year. And I feel like unfortunately this award might go to Josh Allen because of voter fatigue. And that just proves to you how good Lamar Jackson is that he's so good that the voters are tired of voting for him. And I think that just shows you how good he is, when you compare him to the other elite quarterbacks in the NFL. But yeah, this man is more than deserving of an MVP. And I mean, I was supporting Josh Allen basically the whole way, but I mean, you just open your eyes and you see what's actually going on. You see what Lamar Jackson is actually doing. It shouldn't really be that big of a shock to pick Lamar Jackson. Why? Because he already won it. Who cares? This award should go to the best player, and he is the best player in the NFL. But with that being said, my honorable mentions will be Josh Allen for essentially a lot of the reasons for Lamar Jackson. He just kind of carried his team, put his team in a position to win, every single week this year. And yeah, I will say I'm extremely excited to watch these two quarterbacks essentially duel it out for what I feel would be a spot in the Super Bowl, by the way. This weekend in the divisional round. I think it'll be very fun. I think this will be an amazing game. And yeah, I will be sharing who I pick for my divisional games very, very quickly at the end. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's my MVPs and my honorable mentions going to Josh Allen and Joe Burrow, essentially just because they're all great quarterbacks. This is a quarterback award. But and also Joe Burrow, I mean, I think he would be a little bit higher. I know he's like probably going to finish in the top three, top four. But if his team just, I know wins aren't a QB stat, but if his team just performed better and made the playoffs, then I think absolutely he'd get a little bit more recognition here. But that's my MVP pick, Lamar Jackson. Go and get your third MVP, King. Um, and next, moving on, we're going to go to the Offensive Player of the Year, where we see Saquon Barkley backwards hurdling right into the award. And if you remember Week 9, I had Derrick Henry, and my number 2 was Saquon Barkley. And essentially, it was just it kind of turned into Saquon's award during the second half of the year. He kind of just ran away with it, no pun intended. But I mean, look at his statistics. 2005 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns, 5.8 yards a carry. And then you go to the receiving, 33 receptions, 278 and 2. Um, and I mean, 2,000-yard rusher essentially was the Eagles' offense. I feel, I feel like he was just so dynamic that he made this Eagles offense so much better. And I think he really was the most impactful player on the team overall this year. And that's essentially why he's going to win the award over Derrick Henry. And it'd be weird if Derrick Henry won Offensive Player of the Year and then Lamar won MVP. It's like, wait, why is Lamar getting the MVP and then Derrick Henry? It'd be interesting. It'd be weird if it happened. I don't think it's going to happen. And I think Saquon's going to win this award. But, I mean, it was a fun year for both of these guys, kind of finishing very, very closely to each other in statistics. I really do think at the end of the day it could be a toss-up. But I'm going to go with Saquon, and just because of the incredible job he's done with the Eagles offense, I feel like carrying them and just, I mean, he was the guy, which, I mean, for a running back, you don't see that very often in the league anymore, outside of like Christian McCaffrey. It's like, who else? So that's why he's getting the award. And but Derrick Henry also had a great year. And my other honorable mention, Jamar Chase. You go back to Joe Burrow being an MVP candidate. This guy made that so much easier for him, because I mean, he's just easily one of the 2 best wide receivers in the NFL, if not the best. So yeah, those are my Offensive Player of the Year awards. Going to be a close race, but it'll go to Saquon. Defensive Player of the Year, though, I do have Pat Surtain the second, who I think has overtaken Ahmad Gardner, not Sauce, as the best corner in the NFL. Incredible player. The entire season, was the focal point of this awesome Broncos defense that we saw make it to the playoffs. Congrats to the Broncos, by the way, even though they lost in a wild card weekend to the Bills very, very easily. They kind of got belt to assed, if you will. But Pat Surtain was not one of those reasons. He was definitely the best player on this team throughout the entire season, and that's why he's deserving a Defensive Player of the Year. He held other quarterbacks to a 61.1 passer rating, which is very low, with 5 pass breakups and 4 interceptions. The 85.6 PFF grade. If you don't know what PFF grades, it kind of just grades out, how good you are as a player. And the higher grade you have, the better player you are. It's some analytics bullshit, but I mean, defensive stats are very hard to come up with, so I like to use it. And so that's going to grade out as essentially the best corner in the NFL. I know it says second there, but it is he had the best season of any corner in the NFL, and that's why he's Defensive Player of the Year. And on his tail, there's not even another secondary player here. It's the 2 best edge rushers in the league, and T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett. But I would just love to see a corner win this award. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen it. I think since Stephon Gilmore in like 2018, 2019. So it's been a minute since we've seen one. It would be nice to see another one. I think Surtain should absolutely be the guy to kind of break that streak of these non-corners or even secondary players winning the award. So that's why I'm going to give it to Surtain. It's just because he's the most deserving player, and was basically the leader of this Broncos defense, if not the entire team. But we move on to the rookies. Brock Bowers. First of all, I want to say apologies for the bad picture here. You know how hard it is to get a good Brock Bowers picture. Like, it was weirdly difficult. Because I mean, he's on the Raiders, unfortunately. So sorry about the bad hair here. But God, dude, once that second contract hits, you gotta hit a turkey, bro. But I digress. Enough of the roasting. This guy should absolutely win the Offensive Rookie of the Year. This might be a hot take because Jaden Daniels is one in the playoffs and winning playoff games, and he has been incredible the entire season. But I'm gonna go with Brock Bowers because, respectfully, this year he was the best player at his position, and it wasn't just like an offensive line, it wasn't like a boring position. I shouldn't say boring, maybe a non-skill player position. Um, it was the tight end. He was the best tight end in the NFL this year as a rookie. He led tight ends in receptions and yards, and he had 5 touchdowns. And not even just, I know he led the tight ends in receiving yards. He was eighth overall as a rookie. That's I feel like we've never seen something like that before in a long, long time, where a player has come into the NFL in his very first year statistically put up the best season. Offensively at least. I feel like Sauce Gardner his rookie year was really good as a corner and graded out really well. So that might be the one anomaly. But if you look at offense, I feel like it's been a long, long time since we've seen that. So I mean, just doing that alone, I feel like Bauer should win this, and I feel like this should go to a non-quarterback. I feel like the Offensive Rookie of the Year award is kind of getting a little quarterbacky, like the MVP. I would like to see them change that up, just for this one time, especially because I feel like Brock Bowers is deserving of it. He was the Raiders. He was the Raiders' offense, and without him, I mean, this offense is just so 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 bad. When they got rid of Devontae Adams, it's like who the hell is insert quarterback here throwing the ball to? Because I mean, their quarterback situation was a revolving door. But I mean, at least you have a solidified position group in tight end because I mean you do have Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, but I mean Brock Bowers already going to be going into next season a top 3-2 tight end. I feel, because I mean he led them in receptions and yards, and this isn't just like a slouch of a position either. You got great tight ends in the NFL still. You got Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Trey McBride. Mark Andrews, all these great guys, Njoku, Kyle Pitts. I mean, the list goes on and on of just really good tight ends in the league, and Brock Bowers being one of those, jumping a lot of those guys in his very first year. That's some rookie of the year type shit right there, respectfully. But with that being said, my honorable mentions are going to be Jaden Daniels. I mean, he's done an incredible job. He has just been so composed and poised all year for the Commanders and has been really good. It blows my mind how good he is because I did not think he would be as impressive as he was. And if he won the Rookie of the Year, I wouldn't be mad at all because I think he's quite deserving of it as well. But then my other honorable mention here is going to be Brian Thomas Jr. to wrap out your top three here. Because I mean he was third in the NFL in receiving yards. I know I went on about Bowers being eighth, but I mean Brian Thomas was third and he had 10 touchdowns. So I mean he had a fantastic rookie season, but I just don't feel like it'll be acknowledged enough for him to get any awards for or any enough votes to win this. But a very very impressive offensive rookie class this year. And we're not done with the rookies though, because you move to defense rookie of the year, where we have Jared Verse, our first pick from the midseason that's going to stay the same. He kept up his great rookie year going after the midseason point. He finishes with 41 solo tackles, 6 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles with a 86.2 PFF grade for all edge rushers. So that's going to be ninth. So out of every edge rusher in the league that you can think of, T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa, the list goes on and on. Of all those guys, he was number 9, which is really impressive. Because I mean, you look at the edge rusher position now. It's a very stacked position. There's a lot of great players, and to come in rookie year and be the 9th best overall, statistically, that's really good. And I think he's not obviously filling the shoes of Aaron Donald completely, but I mean he's doing a great job of keeping this Rams defense afloat. And I mean you gotta recognize that somewhere, and it's gonna come with the rookie Jared Verse here. And yeah, I mean there really is not too much else to say other than just he's a really great player and he's gonna be a great player for the Rams for a long time. So I'm interested as a football fan to see how his career pans out. As a Cardinals fan, not so much. I had to deal with Aaron Donald for my whole life pretty much. So I would hope that that trend doesn't continue with Jared Verse, but something tells me it might, unfortunately. But we move to our honorable mentions. I got 2 Eagles here. Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean both kind of came in and saved the secondary for how bad it was last year. And that's kind of my main reasoning as to why, is because, I mean, you look at how bad their secondary and their defense was in Philadelphia last year, which I know wasn't all the players' fault. It was kind of a lot of, blame on the coordinators. Now you have Vic Fangio back there who's a legendary defensive mind. So you're going to get back on track a little bit, but I feel like guys like Quinion and Cooper DeJean, they kind of came in and elevated that room a lot more than what people thought, and that's why they're both going to be here. Because I mean, the job that's been done in Philadelphia this year, just compared to a year ago, is definitely nothing to slouch at. They did a great job, and I think this is going to be a very interesting award to look at. It's kind of to see who rounds out the voting. But I do think at the end of the day we'll go to Jared Verse, and it'll be well deserving. But next we move on to Coach of the Year, where we got Dan Quinn here. Another same one. Changed the same. Changed. What am I even trying to say? No changes here. My God, my dyslexia is kicking in. Led the Commanders to a 12-5 record this year. At the mid season point, they were 7-2, so they round out the year being 5-3. And I mean, you think about how this team really had no expectations going into this year. You know, they just drafted their quarterback. They signed all these old guys to kind of fill out their roster. You're thinking, what the hell's going on in Washington? They bring in Cliff Kingsbury, WTF? You know, he was a dumpster fire in Arizona pretty much. But no, he and the job his coaching staff has done, you know, kept his Commanders team alive. They finished second in the NFC East over there, right behind the Eagles. I mean, it was a pretty close race for a majority of the season, and you know, nobody thought they would do that at all, except Zach on our podcast, apparently on the season predictions, the week 0 episode, if you will. So crazy that somebody actually thought that would happen, because I know I didn't. I know Otto didn't. So hey, good for the Commanders and good for Dan Quinn and good for the job that they've done all season. It's really impressive to see. They kind of just went in there and just kind of gave this team a mentality that they needed to kind of go out there and just kick tons of ass, and that's what they've done this year, especially in the playoffs. Against the Buccaneers, they played a great game and they got the win, which I did not see coming as well. But my honorable mentions are going to be two NFC North guys, Kevin O'Connell and Dan Campbell. Both of the top 2 records pretty much in the NFC, especially when you look at Kevin O'Connell. He had Sam Darnold as a quarterback, so a lot of people didn't think they would replicate how good they've been with Kirk Cousins over the last year and a half. And Dan Campbell, I mean, he's just done an illustrious job with the Lions, and you know, he's definitely going to be kind of a perennial Coach of the Year candidate, I feel, until he wins it. So, yeah, I feel like you just got to throw him in here every year. But I do have Dan Quinn taking an award, and that means that our last award here, Comeback Player of the Year, speaking of guys like Sam Darnold, it's going to be... Oh, that's the wrong picture. My bad. My bad. Sam Darnold. Going to be Comeback Player of the Year here. Definitely a different pick than what we had in Week 9, which was Kyler Murray. God, Cole. I wonder if you're a Cardinals fan or not. Yeah, this will show it here. But I digress. But yeah, Sam Darnold going to be kind of my Comeback Player of the Year award here. 45 total yards on the year, 4,300 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, which is a lot. But I mean, you got to think about where this guy's been the last few years. He's kind of been, you know, just seen as a really bad NFL player, not a great quarterback, pretty much a perennial backup. You know, after his time in Carolina didn't work out, and then he goes to San Francisco and is the backup under Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy for a year, and we're thinking, this is kind of it for Sam Darnold. We're going to write him off. And then, you know, the Vikings pick him up. He, you know, is going to essentially be sitting behind J.J. McCarthy is what it seems, but then J.J. McCarthy's out for the year, and so Darnold steps up and he leads his team to 14 wins. I know the end of the year wasn't pretty against the Lions and the Rams. His last 6 quarters of football have been very, very not good and have kind of diminished what he's going to make on the open market this year, I feel, but somebody's going to pay for him anyways, Giants. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next for Sam Darnold, but I mean, you look at just this year alone, if you would have told me after how not great he's been throughout his career so far that Sam Darnold will put up these numbers, I'd say get the hell out of here, because there's no way. Like, I was a Sam Darnold guy, but I didn't think he would lead a team to 14 fucking wins. That's a lot. So just an incredible job by not only Sam Darnold, but also Kevin O'Connell, who should receive Coach of the Year recognition. Probably not going to win the award, but should you know, definitely be looked as a candidate. And Sam Darnold should win Comeback Player of the Year because, I mean, the story is there for him, and he's just been a great player so far. And yeah, my honorable mentions here are going to be Joe Burrow and J.K. Dobbins. I don't know. There's not really too many like candidates out there that I'm like, yeah, they could also stop Darnold from winning this. Because Dobbins got hurt. You know, he's had an IR stint this year, unfortunately, which slowed him down a lot. I feel like if he didn't get hurt this year, he definitely would be my candidate. Just because Kyler Murray, I feel like I had him winning the award early in the year. He's not even on the top three anymore, just because of the kind of not disaster second half of the season, but the just the downfall, like the downturn that the Cardinals had the second half kind of caused him to be out of this race, in my opinion. Which is why I have Joe Burrow being number two, because I mean he was hurt last year. The Bengals missed the playoffs, but then they missed it again. Even though Joe Burrow had an awesome year. So I mean, it's like, what are they really coming back from? They're in the same situation they were last year. They're just closer to the playoffs. So like, cool. You got closer to making the playoffs, but you still missed it. We're not going to throw you in for that. But yeah, those are going to be my awards. That's what I think is going to happen with the NFL honors for most of them. A lot of them are just who I think are gonna who I want to win. But for most of it, I feel like it should be genuinely who I think should get this award when they do the NFL honors before the Super Bowl. But yeah, that's gonna do it for my awards. And real quick, I do just want to rapid fire my divisional predictions. I've got the Chiefs beating the Texans. I had the Lions beating the Commanders. Upset. I got the Rams. Sorry, we'll get to the Bills one. I got the Rams beating the Eagles. That's kind of my big upset. I don't know why. I saw the Rams and how they played the Vikings, and I'm thinking, yeah, this team is gonna be they're gonna be a force in the playoffs. They got Stafford. He's top five still. I think they can knock off the Eagles there. But then I go to the big game of the weekend, basically to decide the MVP award of the Bills and the Ravens. Sorry, Otto, I'm gonna go with the Bills. I'm going with the Bills. They've looked so good this year. I know both of these teams I think played earlier in the year, and the Ravens won pretty handedly. But I don't know. I think things have changed for the Bills. I think they're kind of just they're on a roll right now, and I feel like their momentum. I know momentum's not a real thing, but for this analogy, it is. I think their momentum is gonna kind of push them to get the win over the Ravens here. But I think it'll be a fantastic game, and as an NFL fan, I'm very very looking forward to that one. As a Ravens or Bills fan, I'd be shook right now, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's gonna do it. For my awards, please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What have I gotten wrong? What do you think? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? I would love to hear all your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And I know I haven't been here for a while, but still, thank you guys for supporting the channel. And yeah, we're at 200 subscribers now. My last video, we were just over 100. So that shows the growth that's happened since since the last video of me on the channel. I mean, Otto's really been holding it down. I can't express enough how great of a job he's been doing. So, yeah, thank you guys for the support, and yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.